Thank you for joining us. President Trump welcomed UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer to the White House Thursday. The two leaders discussed the strong ties between nations, trade, and NATO. Of course, one of the most pressing topics was Ukraine. Starmer said he is willing to send peacekeeping troops as part of a future peace deal. The president and prime minister addressed that at a joint news conference.
The next step we're making is toward a very achievable ceasefire. We hope that that can happen quickly because thousands of young people, in this case, we're not talking about Americans, we're talking about Ukrainians and Russians are being killed every week.
The UK is ready to put boots on the ground and planes in the air to support a deal, working together with our allies, because that is the only way that peace will last.
President Trump also made an announcement Thursday about his proposed 25% tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico. He wrote on Truth Social, quote, "Drugs are still pouring into our country from Mexico and Canada at very high and unacceptable levels. A large percentage of these drugs, much of them in the form of fentanyl, are made in and supplied by China." He later adds, until it stops or is seriously limited, the proposed tariffs scheduled to go into effect on March 4th will indeed go into effect as scheduled. China will likewise be charged an additional 10% tariff on that date. Despite President Trump raising concerns about fentanyl from both countries, more than 96% of fentanyl seized by border officials last year came from the southern border, compared to just 0.2% from the north, according to data from Customs and Border Protection. CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro joins us now. Aaron, what were big takeaways from Prime Minister Starmer's visit to the White House?
Yeah, you mentioned that Ukraine and Russia was central in their discussions. I thought it was notable during the presser between the two leaders, how Trump said that a ceasefire specifically was acceptable, sounded very optimistic on that. As you mentioned, the British Prime Minister committed to putting peacekeepers in Ukraine if a deal is reached. Well, President Trump, as he has throughout this whole week, said that he would not commit to that and that he wants to get the deal done first. And then when asked if the prime minister was able to convince Trump that tariffs are not necessary in terms of U.S. tariffs on the United Kingdom, Trump said that the discussion between the two leaders was productive and there could be a trade deal between the two allies where tariffs are not necessary. That's one of the first exceptions we've heard from President Trump when it comes to his overall tariff war.
Another remarkable moment happened during the Oval Office in the meeting when President Trump was asked about his relationship with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and the minerals deal they're expected to sign. Let's watch.
I think I have a very good relationship with President Zelensky, and now we're doing the deal.
Do you still think that Mr. Zelensky is a dictator?
Did I say that? I can't believe I said that. Next question.
I mean, Zelensky arrives at the White House Friday. What do you make of that? And what can we expect from this visit?
It's a striking shift. On just February 19, that's when President Trump called Ukrainian President Zelensky a dictator and called for elections to potentially replace him. Now today he says he has, quote, a lot of respect for the Ukrainian president and says that Ukrainian forces have fought very bravely. The expectation is that there will be an agreement between the two countries for the U.S. to have a stake in the amount of rare earth minerals in Ukraine. This is a material used for smartphones, other electronics. Trump referred to it as a, quote, huge economic development project for Ukraine, but it could also be helpful for the U.S., and Trump sees it as a sort of return of investment for aid given to Ukraine during President Biden's term.
One expert we had last night on TDR said it could take a decade for us to see any of these rare minerals. The president was asked about that today. He didn't exactly take that bait, but said, we're going to dig and you never know what you're going to find.
Right.
Before we let you go, President Trump says 25% tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico will go into effect Tuesday. We mentioned how the vast majority of fentanyl is seized from the southern border. Less than 1% comes from the north. How does the White House justify equal tariffs for both?
Yeah, that's right. Just in the northern border, just a small amount, 1% of the fentanyl supply is from smuggling across Canada, according to the Canadian Prime Minister. Our colleague Nancy Cordes asked President Trump about that disparity, and in response, Trump suggested that there is fentanyl that is not being caught in that northern border and said that the country should, quote, be apprehending more.
Aaron Navarro, thank you.